Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Wild and Wingless. Tonight I got myself the driver of the S23, Jack McCarthy. Jack, how are you tonight?
Good man, good.
It looks like it's getting cold down your way with your beanie on, yeah?
It is cold, yeah. It's cold now. Starting straight in the winter.
Hey, look, I really appreciate you taking time out to sit down and have a chat. There's a lot of things that I've heard about Jack McCarthy a lot. I mean, you go look at any sort of results page, you'll see the name there. But I actually don't know you much as a driver, so it's really good for you to take a few minutes out to come chill and talk. For those that also don't know about Jack McCarthy, how did you get started in motor racing to get to where you are today in wingless?
So both my dad and my uncle race in super sedans and late models. So naturally, as a kid, I was at the racetrack every weekend with dad, and got to the age where I think I raced a motocross bike for a little while, and then progressively got into speedway. You know, like we were there every weekend, like a lot of kids are with their dads, and you always want to go and race, and you see it. So yeah, we got into a bit of speedway. I reckon I was maybe 11 or 12 or something like that, maybe 12, and got into some junior sedan racing and just progressed from there.
Yeah, right. So when did you jump into a wingless?
Uh, I reckon 2019.
Yep.
I reckon, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Had a did a stint in 360 sprint cars for a while there, and then went to America and worked on a race team for a few years there, and then and did a pretty big stint over there in 2018, I think it was, and then came back and got bored. So so we built a wingless because at that stage, wingless racing in South Australia was pretty big. You know, we were getting like 35 cars or 30-ish cars a night to a club show. So I thought we'd buy one, and I don't know, just I get, to be fair, I just wanted to do something. I was bored at that stage, so yeah, we just joined the realm of what everyone else was doing, and yeah, that was about it. You know,
That was,
we at that stage it was like mid, well, not mid COVID, but like starting the COVID deal. So
hmm
we went and bought one and did a few races, and then COVID hit, and it sort of turned to shit for everyone. So
Yeah, right. And then you've also had tried your luck as well with speed cars, and you've
yep,
actually been very successful with that. I actually watched you when we did our SummerSlam. You were racing the
yep,
speed car, and you were quite
yep.
successful in that, which I thought was really good because it was good to see a one of our front running wingless guys kicking ass in a speed car, and then you could come back from the speed car, jump back in your wingless, and be back up the front again, which is I thought it showed a lot of potential for our division as far as we can produce guys who are very fast race car drivers. So that was cool to see too. You like driving the speed car?
Yeah, I love the speed car, mate. The speed car was always my number one. Ever since I was a kid, I always wanted to run a speed car. And
Yep.
um, Harry and Allison gave me the opportunity a couple of years ago to run their spare car that they had, and we ended up doing pretty good in it straight away. So they sort of upgraded all of my equipment at the start of this year to sort of compete on a national level, and then we went and ran Pro Speed Week over Christmas and ended up winning that. And then yeah, we're back in it again this weekend for the national title. So yeah, massive thanks to them. Without them, I wouldn't have a speed car drive at all. So I love getting in the speed car and then back to the wingless again.
Yep.
It's good to get laps. Like laps is everything.
Yep.
So the more laps you can do, the better you get, regardless of what it's in. Makes you a better versatile driver. So yeah, I love the speed car. Speed car's
Anything
wicked, man.
anything you can bring back to the wingless to help you with your racecraft?
I just think it's the mindset in the car. Not so much the way that the cars react, but just thinking your way through a race.
Yep.
Like a lot of the time, especially in my wing, I find more so in my wingless than the speed car that I'll be no good at one point or another in a race. So whether it be the start of the race or the end of the race or the middle of the race in my wingless, I'll be no good. So yeah, it sort of just gives you that confidence to go, right, we're no good for 6 or 7 laps, and just keep persisting with it and try some different stuff and work out where the car's better. In the speed car, I find that you drive with such high level race car drivers that you're at 11 tenths all the time.
Yep.
So you demand the most out of the car. So I think that brings it back to the wingless. When you drive in the wingless and you're in a position where you think that your car's not as good, you sort of search around and do a bit of R&D for 6 or 7 laps, and that's okay. Like you don't have to be the best car on the racetrack for those 6 or 7. You just need to find out where it's better. So yeah, that has really helped me in any sort of any driving, not just wingless, but it just the more laps is the best.
Yeah. No, that's I think spot on there. I hear that a lot. So, what is it that you enjoy about racing wingless? Because as you said, you keep sort of coming back to it. Um, yeah. What is it about wingless that you love?
The amount of numbers, I think, in South Australia, we have, in my opinion, whether it's agreed upon or not, I think we have the fiercest amount of cars.
Hmm.
If you go to any race in South Australia, you'll have like 9 or 10 cars that can win.
Yep.
Any so if you go to a club show at Murray Bridge, and you run eighth, that's probably a pretty good night.
Yeah. Okay.
Essentially take the 11 car, which is now the A1 car, myself, the 26 car. There's so many cars now that are so good on every single night that you need to be on your game. And I love it, man. I love the pit talk, the shit talk. I love it all, man. It's good fun, Like I try to keep to myself as much as possible because in the end of the day, I'm there to win. I'm not there to make friends, but I like the fact that at the end of the night, we can all race hard. Like literally the weekend just gone, I think myself and Tyson Martin, I think we banged wheels about 15 times in the whole race, and we were still able to have a bit of a laugh at the end of the night and go home. It's just hard. It's solid hard racing, and that's what we want. Like I'm happy to get beaten at any point in time when you're hard racing, and that's what we got here week in and week out. And it's really only an hour and a half from home, so that's why I love it, mate. As soon as that goes away, and then if myself or Tyson or Ryland or any of those guys are out there winning by 3 laps a night, then I'll give it away.
Yeah. Well, let's hope that doesn't happen. But yeah. All right. Yeah. So, what's been your highlight for the season? This will be interesting.
We've been absolutely garbage in wingless.
Yep.
Yep, absolutely crap.
Well, you've had some bad luck, I know, but I'm just going to say for me, round one, Wound Series, right? You got dealt a very bad hand in the first opening heat. It put you behind. What did we have up there? Was it 40, 60 cars? I can't remember.
40 something, I reckon it was.
40 something, sorry.
Yeah.
And then you had to come from near the last in the B to get you transferred. Talk to me about that. Like that would have been as much as the night started terribly. Just that's one thing I learned that night. I'm pretty sure everyone else learned that you put Jack McCarthy, you put him back up against the wall. He's going to come out swinging. He's going to come out hard too. Like you had nowhere to go but up, and just that night was incredible. Talk to me about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think at that stage it's like anyone, I guess. Like you got nothing to lose, so you might as well roll the dice on it, and that was basically what we did that night. The B feature, I think we started out of 13, something like that, and I think we got to second, which transferred us through, and I think we started out of 18 or 20, I think, in the B feature and drove to fourth.
Yep.
And I think a lot of that was just sheer will to try and peg back what we had. Like that car was driven at 11 tenths that entire time.
Yeah.
And like a lot, and not that I had any luck during those features, but I think I was just in that mentality that you're either going to get out of the way or I'm going to push you out of the way.
Yep.
And Toowoomba's a long way, right? So Toowoomba's 23 and a half hours from home. So I certainly wasn't prepared to drive 23 and a half hours from home to watch the A feature from the hill.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, it's the wingless car for me this year. We've had enough car pace to win anywhere in the country, I believe. But you just you have those years. You just have those years where tires go down, someone runs into you, cuts the tire down. A fuel pump fails, an ignition switch falls out. Just shit like that. So I still think that we have one of the best cars in the country at any given time. It's just sometimes they roll your way and sometimes they don't. And this year just didn't roll our way at all.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. But you have shown some pretty good signs. But as you said, it's you got to take the good with the bad. But you definitely shown some speed. All right, let's go to the Australian title at Mildura. You've been very quick
Yep.
at Mildura in the past.
Yep.
You definitely were in my top 5 that I was sort of throwing out there. I thought definitely going to see that black 23 float somewhere around the front. You had to, you know what I mean? How was your weekend there? Tell me about your story. What did you sort of go through?
Yeah, mine was absolutely rat shit. Is the honest, absolute honest opinion. Mate, we were fast again. I sound like a broken record. You know, we were fast again. Everything was good. We had a ripper race with Kyle Mock in our prelim A-main on the Friday night or the Saturday night or whatever night it was. And we were looking real good. And then we rolled out Saturday or Sunday, got in a heat race, got together with one of the Tasmanian cars, got pinned and put back 2 spots, which put us deep in the A feature.
Yep.
So we started out at 15 or 16 or 18 or something back there. And then I reckon we were in 8th or 7th or 9th maybe or something like that. And then the plug lead fell off.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So that's what happened to you. Okay.
Yeah. So I came out of turn 4 and the thing dropped the cylinder and it felt like it had broken a valve spring. So I ran it down the front straight away and then ran the bottom in 1 and 2 because I didn't want to get in anyone's way. And then came out of turn 2 thinking that it might come good and it didn't. So then I'd sort of assumed that we'd probably broken a valve spring or something like that. So pulled it in because I didn't want to risk the engine for the following week. And then as I came in, my trusting and good friend Brad Warren came over to me and said, "Oh mate, you don't want to look at that side." And I thought, "Oh no, pumped a conrod clean out the side of it or something like that." And then as I got out of the car and went and looked over, plug lead was just dangling down and no damage, no nothing. Literally clipped it back on and drove it back in the pit. So
you're kidding.
If that's not a highlight reel of my year, I don't know what is.
But you had so much speed before then. You were very entertaining to watch in the heats, and that prelim was one. I actually think the prelims. I don't know. I'm just going to go and say it. Better show. Put on a much better show. You had 5 prelims, one after the other. I parked myself on turn 2 in my chair, and I did not move. They were the best races I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, I mean the prelims are always good. That Chili Bowl type format is always really good because in every prelim you're always going to get like 4 or 5 good guys.
Yep.
So like in our prelim we had myself and Densley and Mock and Keke Fallon and a few of those guys that were really, really good. And then I got to watch the final one from the infield after we got Wade, and same thing, I watched Kirby drive from whatever it was through the middle of the rubber almost to the lead. Actually, I think he got it.
He got the lead, yeah.
And it's just, it's really good racing when it's like that. And Mildura put on such a ripper race.
Yeah.
Like that I get that it was, probably the hottest place on earth for 3 days in a row. And, they tilled, and, it wasn't a long thing either. They tilled and worked the track after 5 heat races or 6 heat races, something like that. And it didn't take that long. And every time you went out there was either a little bit to lean on or you could blow through it. And it was just a ripper weekend, mate. But just, like my whole season's gone into wingless, it just didn't fall our way.
Yeah, but we know you're better than that. So, all right, you've been around for a little while. What's been your favourite racetrack?
See, I used to like old school Adelaide. So like when Speedway City. Yeah, when Speedway City was good and it was balls to the wall, flat out, and had big holes in it, that was my favourite.
Really? Oh, so you like it rough? All right.
Yeah, I just liked it. Like Adelaide was one of those places that you could, because we don't get the 20-minute down the road anymore. Like Murray Bridge is our closest racetrack, and that's an hour and a half from home for me. And then We got a couple of country tracks that are, a couple of hours away, and then Mount Gambier. So, when we used to get to race at Adelaide, you could leave home at 2:00.
Right.
And you could get to the racetrack, and then So for me, going to race at Adelaide was always good because your friends and your family and all those guys that you used to talk shit with during the week would come and watch.
Yep.
Well, we sort of don't get that anymore. So Adelaide was always a favourite for me, and Mildura, funnily enough, I've had a lot. Like apart from the Australian title this year, I think I've won like 8 or 9 races at Mildura in the Wingless before, and then I won a 360 race there as well. And it's just that place to me is always wild. I wish it wasn't 987 degrees every time I went there.
It's bad.
It's hot.
I do love that place too. So I've seen the results you pull off there too. So that's understandable.
Yeah.
All right. So what's been your favourite moment in the sport?
Probably winning the Pro Speed Week this year.
Yep.
I reckon to watch, because the thing is with the midget, that's not just a me deal anymore. Like the Wingless is always a me deal, as in I own the car, I own the team, I own everything, and then I've got my girlfriend Ashley, and then we got a couple of guys, Trent and Phil, that will normally always come, but the midget deal is a far bigger spectacle. It's got 3 or 4 people that are in ownership of the deal, and Harry and Al and crew guys that come, and it ends up being a massive thing. So I'd sort of pestered them for ages and ages and ages to give me a good engine like what the other car has, and then they finally did it, and we ended up winning Pro Speed Week first time out.
Yep.
And just to see, to see Harry and Al and Murph so happy at Mount Gambier when we won that race and we ran 1-2. I guess that was probably one of those deals where you think that, you've got no outlay in the deal. I don't have no financial outlay in it, nothing at all. I literally just rock up with my gear bag like a hero and drive the car. And, to see how happy they were when we were able to do it, that was sort of pretty big for me. I think that was probably the best thing that I've done in a race car in my life.
Yeah, right. Okay. I would have liked to have seen a wingless one there, but anyway, that's all right. That's good. It was a good.
No wingless on that. I suck at wingless. No good.
All right. Give us your number 23. Any significance? What's the meaning behind it?
So my dad was number 23.
Yeah. Okay. Family number. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, I got that given to me when I was I think 12 or 13. When I started racing junior sedans, they sort of assumed that I was going to do it. I never even picked a number. They just sort of gave it to me, and the car was registered in that number, and Dad had painted the number on the car, and that was it. And then, in all honesty, that's the only number I've ever had in everything.
Nice.
Apart from the speed car, which I've tried very hard to get Alison to change it to 23, but she will not.
She won't. She's stuck with the 6.
Nah, yeah. The 6 is the number, and if it's not 6, it's 35. So I still can't get 23, but. Right. Yeah, 23 was Dad's number. It's just stuck with me for life, mate. I've had it with everything.
There's one more thing I want to talk to you about, and that is motors, engines.
Yep.
I get numerous phone calls a week, and I speak to numerous people as well, and everyone talks about motors. And at the moment, if I want to say, if you talk engine builders, Jack McCarthy comes up in that conversation awful lot. So with what you do as far as obviously you build your own motors, and I've seen your exhaust system, which is a very interesting exhaust system you've got. But so you build your motors, you're building them for other people. How do you find building these motors for other people as well as running them?
Extremely difficult.
Right.
The thing is I never like to see any of the stuff that I do go bad.
Yep.
Or have an issue with it. But the reality is that everything that we bolt to the engine in a wingless car doesn't necessarily have a long shelf life, i.e. injectors, alternators, throttle bodies, things like that. They don't like the dirt, the mud, the vibrations, the cleaning on a Sunday. They were never designed to do that kind of stuff. So a lot of the time I will try and coach people the right way to do it. And there's probably not a right way and a wrong way. But the thing is I never intended for the engine thing to be a thing.
Right.
I'd obviously done 4 or 5 years of R&D. Jared and myself at our own workshop had done so much R&D to find a package that worked for myself. It was never intended to be part of the broader community of wingless racing. But
Right.
I ended up building an engine for a very good mate of mine, Ryan Alexander, who pestered me for so long to do one.
Yep.
And I built one for him, and then he ended up having a lot of success with it, and it sort of just snowballed from there. And then yeah, I built a few for a couple of guys here in Adelaide that needed some stuff and wanted some stuff done, and yeah, it sort of just went to a bigger thing, and then we ended up building some engines for some guys interstate, and then yeah, it was one of those things where I never intended it to be as big as what it got, and it just it seems to just every week my phone will ring and there will be another person with an issue, and like as much as probably people don't believe, I'm happy to help people, if they need help. But yeah, it just, it sort of just got to a point where now I think I've got close to 20 engines around the country
Really?
of my own. Yeah, that sort of float around, and we do maintenance for guys, and then sort of fix stuff for people when it goes wrong, and I'm sort of just turned into a one-stop shop.
No, I think it's good. So when I heard about your motors, and as I said, I probably just before the Australian title, I was sort of talking about your name a fair bit because, as I said before, you're very strong at Mildura. So I sort of threw you in there as one of the sort of favourites. But we'll talk. I was talking to someone. I think they were from Queensland, and he mentioned about you building motors, and I'm thinking, man, I've never spoken to this guy before. I don't even know if he builds motors. What does he even call himself? And then that's when I came up with the whole. You got to call it Big Mac, man. You have to with the Big Mac sauce. I reckon that's what you got to buy to for your wingless. So I reckon it's good what you're doing. You're very helpful, and as you said, like people get your number, they give you a call, and regardless if you're racing them on Saturday night, you do whatever you can to assist people, and I think that's great. It's what we need for the sport.
Yeah, I mean that was probably my number one concern when I started doing engines, was that I didn't want people to sort of think that I wasn't giving them an opportunity to beat me.
Yep.
Because that whether or not you want to address it or not, that's always what it comes down to. Like if I build an engine for someone that thinks that they have the same equipment and the same ability as what I do, and they don't beat me, essentially I don't want them to think that I've shortchanged them with not building them something that's equivalent of winning. So that was always a concern for me. But the more that I build engines for people or fix stuff for people, it sort of never really become an issue. I think a lot of people, especially in like closer to me in Adelaide or South Australia, that guys sort of they're happy to come and get stuff done or stuff fixed, and they're happy to go on their way, and they run their own race. So that was the only thing that I was really concerned about, is I didn't want to get into a pissing match with someone at the racetrack.
That would be fun.
I built an engine for that they were upset that it wasn't fast enough, and luckily, hand on my heart, it hasn't happened yet. So no, it's good, mate. I'm happy to help anyone. If they want anything done, mate, I'm happy to help. I just don't want them to think that I'm shortchanging them with something. They can come and drive my car if they want.
Oh, there we go. No, I mean, you, as you said, there's a lot of motors out there now, and there was definitely a lot of them out at Mildura for the Australian title there, and all of them were running fast. So you just, as you said when we were having a chat earlier, proof's in the pudding, man. So it's all there. If you want a good motor, give Jack McCarthy a call. So hey, look, I really appreciate your time for giving me tonight, and I know it's cold out there in the shed with your two hot rods. I can't wait to hear the story about that one over your shoulder there, but anyway. I'm sure we'll see something about that shortly. I'd like to give everyone an opportunity to thank their sponsors and their partners when they come on the show. So, mate, the floor's all yours.
Yeah, mate. Honestly, first and foremost, Harry now from the Speedway shop. They give me a massive opportunity to race the midget and also tyres and everything else for the wingless. Troy Bonner from Ultimate Engineering, he's come on board probably the last 3 or 4 years. They've been a massive influence in my racing, as well as Jared at Automotive Techniques. Realistically, Jesse at J Floors, he's been with me since the very start. He was probably the very first person that gave me a lending hand when things got bad with money and people, which is probably the ugly side of speedway that no one ever tells you.
Yeah.
But yeah, realistically, mate, my partner Ashley and Phil, who come away with me racing every single week. It's a big slug, mate. You take them away from their family and things that they want to do on the week and for the whole weekend too. Like a lot of the times we leave Friday after work and don't get back till Sunday night. So massive thanks to them. I'm just at the moment, mate. I'm keen to get back in the midget this weekend and turn some laps.
Well, there you go. Best of luck to you for the weekend. But thanks very much for coming on. Everyone, that is Jack McCarthy. Anyone needs an engine out there, give him a call. He loves talking to people. But no, thanks very much for everyone tuning in. I can't wait to see you for the next one. Take care.